Recently, Neil deGrasse Tyson went on a podcast and spoke about UFOs. He said some pretty interesting things. I'm here to tell you why he is wrong. He first spoke about why the term UFOs got changed to UAPs.
To get rid of the giggle factor. The government calls them UAPs.
He claimed that the government did this to avoid the giggle factor. Though partially true, people like Neil deGrasse Tyson are the very people who are keeping this giggle factor alive. The reason why the government changed the terminology from UFO to UAP was to accommodate the phenomena as a broad spectrum. Because sometimes you have these vehicles which are transmedium, and we even have these phenomena like abduction phenomena. So to cover all these things under a single umbrella term, UAP seemed more appropriate. He's also stating that these whistleblowers are claiming anything which is unidentified in the sky are alien crafts.
The thing you don't know what you're looking at are visiting aliens from outer space. That's a leap.
But that is ridiculous. That's not what they said. These are clear misdirection from what he says, from what these whistleblowers actually testified at Congress. Either he didn't watch the actual testimony or he's just making things up. David Grush's fundamental claim about these crafts are they are of non-human origin. The best way to think about the situation is to imagine as the whole human population, we are in a zoo. We do have visitors to the zoo. Some of the people in the zoo manage to look at these visitors and see in what vehicles they are coming in. One could make a definite statement that these visitors are coming in vehicles definitely not made by people inside the zoo. This is the same thing which these whistleblowers are claiming. These vehicles which they are seeing are of non-human origin, but doesn't mean they know exactly who made this or where these visitors are from. Also, they are not saying every unknown or unidentified vehicles which they see in the sky are of this type. Only the ones which kind of follow those 5 observables. One shouldn't limit the hypothesis by kind of labeling these crafts are only extraterrestrials. They could be ultra-terrestrial, they could be crypto-terrestrial, or some other exotic origin. In his another statement, Neil deGrasse Tyson says, we have James Webb telescope which are able to capture images from like far distant galaxies which are like 7,000 or more light years away. But why we are struggling to get a good picture of UFOs which are in our sky? He also says the best image we have is some fuzzy tic-tac video. And then also questions why these UFOs are only interested in military places and not like in civilian places. Especially with a lot of cell phones with people who are traveling through airplanes, we should have seen a lot of images of these UFOs. That's his point. He also claims that if we are being invaded by aliens, Congress hearing are not the place where we will be hearing this news from.
Why is it that the James Webb Space Telescope can produce high-resolution color images of gas clouds 7,000 light years away, yet the best evidence we have for aliens is monochromatic, fuzzy tic-tac in restricted airspace on Earth seen only by the U.S. Navy? That's a little weird to me. And by the way, it's in our own atmosphere, and that's the best image they can produce. That's a little weird to me. So, other thing, at any given moment, you surely know, 1 million people are airborne. 1 million with a window. Yes. And there's at least 6 billion smartphones in the world, each capable of high-resolution photos and videos. If we were being invaded by aliens, we have the capacity to crowdsource that phenomenon. Cat videos go viral overnight. If you get any picture of an alien or their spaceship that with the detail you'd expect from high-resolution photography, oh my gosh, the world will know about it overnight. Overnight, but that's not what's happening here. So all of a sudden, we're thinking that the Pentagon has special access to aliens. Really? Really? We have people everywhere on Earth, even places where the Pentagon isn't. And no, we don't see. So we have fuzzy images. Fine. Keep looking for them. I don't want to stop people's enthusiasm for this. I don't know what that is. Go figure it out. But I'm I'm just thinking, if we were being invaded by aliens, we would not require congressional hearings to establish that fact.
First thing first, no whistleblower claimed we are being invaded by aliens. To answer his question about James Webb Telescope, first we have to understand how James Webb Telescope takes pictures. These are not your regular cameras. They use a lot of long exposure image. It's not like a single image is what you see. It's a stitch of multiple images. Imagine focusing the camera to the part of a region of a sky for a very long time and take multiple images and compose everything together, and that's what we see. Now, do you think like you're gonna sit with your camera and the UFO is just gonna wait for you to take so many different images throughout a period of time? So we are comparing apples to oranges here. The best way to think about capturing a UFO is imagine trying to capture the path of a bullet through your phone camera. How many times we have an image captured through people's cell phone camera of a flying bullet? I don't think we have those many. Usually to do that job, we have specialized cameras set up which has very high frame rate and slow motion capture kind of capability. So such cameras are the ones which can capture such high speed moving objects. And sometimes these UFOs do remain stationary, and that's when some of the footage people have caught, we do see. Claim that like we don't have much images is completely wrong. We have so many images, so many videos of these UFOs. We cannot dismiss the fact where these blurriness or the artifacts of these videos which people capture could be a result of the phenomena or the physics based on which these aircraft works. Maybe the mechanism through which they move through space and time is causing such distortion. We do know about gravitational lensing, where anytime we have a massive object, the light bends through the space around this object. What if these objects are distorting such in a such way due to their effect on mass? We also don't understand the capability of these crafts, right? Even we have B-2 stealth bomber. I think Northrop Grumman built it, so which has been there for a long time, has camouflaging capability where any of the radar they cannot detect easily. When we are able to build such capability, why can't we imagine a civilization which might be advanced in millions or billions of years ahead of us could come up with better capability? The reason why these crafts may be sighted more through military installations could be just because they are not interested in regular people like you and me. It has been clearly demonstrated that these crafts are very much interested in our nuclear assets. I don't think you or I have any nuclear assets, right? So go back to our original zoo analogy. So we are animals, we are monkeys in the zoo, and then these visitors who often visit, like, okay, what type of monkey they are very much interested on? Something which imitates them, right? So maybe these visitors are seeing these military activities or the nuclear materials which we possess, they are some advanced capability which seemed to imitate some part of things. Maybe saying, oh yeah, these monkeys are now capable of doing something interesting. Maybe let me look at them. But you and I, like, who are just like going to our regular day job, maybe that's not really interesting for them. In the same way, how a monkey riding a bicycle may become a viral video than a monkey which is just sitting inside a zoo. The reason is here the monkey riding the bicycle seems to be more closely resembling something which we would do than something which is just sitting idly, which is not that interesting. And we shouldn't underestimate the capability these military installations have, especially in places like nuclear or like these big areas where they do these exercise. They have a lot of cameras and sensors, not just the regular cameras. They also have radar and other systems which have these capabilities to capture more of these objects, movements. And people did claim as whistleblowers, these TikTok videos are the least compelling videos which the government has. The question is again why they are not releasing these more compelling high definition videos. That's the question they should be asking, not saying or doubting, oh yeah, these objects do exist or not. The general reason the government states why they can't release such videos is it may expose their capabilities which to the adversaries, like say okay, people may not know okay they have such capability in certain regions, and that's one of the reason they claim to say. I don't take that completely. Even one should remember the gimbal video was taken in a thermal footage camera, and even the jellyfish UFO video was taken using a thermal footage. Maybe these crafts mostly can be seen in a different spectrum than the visible spectrum, which most of our camera usually operates at. Moreover, even when there are millions of footage and UFOs, images and videos exist, most people dismiss those images as like either fake or it's just misidentification of some balloon or something. Again, the reason could be the stigma which exists on this topic, and people like Neil deGrasse Tyson is only promoting that. Especially when we say, okay, some footage which is really clear, we kind of tend to dismiss it, saying, "Oh, it looks too good to be true." We have to remember we don't have a actual comparison for to say, "Okay, this is how a alien craft should look like." So how can we say? So how can we say something is too good to be true, right? Because we don't understand the physics with which these crafts operate doesn't mean they are non-existent. The current nature of mainstream academia, in my opinion, I would say is at a toddler level on UFO topic. It's something where just because I am not going to observe or research on this topic, they don't exist. It's like the same way how a toddler, okay, closes his eye and imagines that the whole world disappeared. Some researchers who have been monitoring these UFOs have found these UFOs to emit radiation in gamma waves at 6 gigahertz spectrum. Statement which Neil deGrasse Tyson made was about the non-human biologics which David Grush was talking about. He said this word non-human biologics could be anything which is not branched out of human, which means like what the government could be hiding could be just a twig or a wood.
By the way, one of the testifiers back last summer said he had non-human biologics.
Yes.
In a locked box in the back, and I take people at their word. What would a non-human biologics be? Well, take the tree of life with everything on it, all the plants, animals, fungus, insects, everything, and remove the branch that are humans. And everything else would be non-human biologics. So he could have tree bark in his locked box, for all I know, based on that kind of testimony.
Context of David Grush's statement is very much important here. So he was giving testimony in Congress, and he talked about non-human biologics bodies which are in possession of the government right after the question about asking who is operating these crafts, or did we commit any bodies in them. I feel like Neil deGrasse Tyson literally took this statement out of context, and he's just making fun of such a serious claim. It is not only making this issue seem trivial and also increasing the laughter around it. Neil deGrasse is just propagating what these cover-up agents want. This also greatly insults David Grush, who has risked everything and all those reprisals and speaking while under oath at Congress, and doing all this while Tyson sitting here at comfortable place, handpicking statements out of context and trivializing the subject. Let's remember, David Grush had his life threatened when he tried to speak this truth. Ask the simple question, why is being pushed? Why many people don't want the truth to come out? When I hear Neil deGrasse Tyson say, I am open to investigating these things flying in the sky, I want to pose this question back to him. This is not a new phenomena. People have been reporting about this for many years, more than 70 years to be fact. And why we don't have any major academic research on this topic, or even people in mainstream academia not showing that much interest on this topic, why it is still considered a taboo or a stigma or a career to suicide for people who talk about this. The role of Neil deGrasse Tyson is supposed to be excite young minds into science. When it comes to UFO topic, his cynical approach doesn't show any or even a scientific curious person would want to look for. There is a clear lack of interest and a general lip service to this topic is what I find from Neil deGrasse Tyson. Him being one of the great communicator of scientific topics could positively impact this UFO subject by actually speaking the truth and building up or stimulating people's curiosity to research about this topic. Isn't the question, are we alone in this universe, is one of the biggest questions we have. We be excited about it and not cynical about this. He often exhibits too much of pre-existing bias and lack of enthusiasm and curiosity when it comes to this subject. So I would recommend anyone who wants to follow this topic, rather follow people like Gary Nolan and Avi Loeb, who are way more forward and open-minded in this topic. I do hope Neil deGrasse Tyson someday will be more open-minded about this topic.